My North West Norfolk constituency has a glorious coastline stretching from the bottom of the Wash up to Hunstanton and its famous striped cliffs and across the Burnham Othery Staithe before joining my right honourable friend's Norfolk constituency. However, along that coast we face significant coastal erosion and defence issues that need to be addressed. This year we mark 70 years since the terrible 1953 floods, where there was tragic loss of many lives in Hunstanton, Snettisham and other parts along the east coast. And earlier this year I was present at memorial events in Snettisham and other places to mark the anniversary. And I came away from all of those with a clear sense that it's our duty as MPs, as custodians of our areas, to do all we can to protect our coastline and our coastal communities. And by taking action, we can help to limit and mitigate coastal erosion and its consequences, set out in the shoreline management plans and the Wash East Coastal Management Strategy. And today I particularly want to highlight the importance of coastal defences between Snettisham and Heacham. These are made up of a natural sand shingle ridge and stretches of concrete defences. Every year there's a beach recycling where material is moved to top up the sand and the shingle ridge, which provides that natural flood defence to properties, caravan parks, holiday homes, as well as prime agricultural land. And this is something of an exemplar partnership project, and I pay tribute to Mike MacDonald, the chairman of the Community Infrastructure Company, which provides nearly 60% of that funding for the annual beach recharge. And only a few weeks ago, he stood on that shingle ridge with me as we met with the Environment Agency and other organisations. And we were there to talk about concern locally that the periodic beach recharge project, which was expected to take place and involves bringing new material onto the beach, is not happening this year. In part, that's due to an assessment by the Environment Agency and monitoring data that showed that it did not need to happen. However, what was concerning to me and my constituents, and the reason that I met with the Environment Agency, was because they said financial and technical constraints meant they considered it undeliverable in any case. The forecast costs had, for example, increased from £3 million to £8 million. But when the Environment Agency has £5.2 million for flooding and coastal erosion projects, it's not acceptable that those costs could have prevented doing what's necessary and what is set out in those plans to defend against coastal erosion. And the Environment Agency's assessment means further work is now underway to consider how to protect this coastline and the approach set out in the Wash East Coast Management Strategy. I'm in no doubt, my constituents are in no doubt, the County Council is in no doubt, the Borough Council is in no doubt that protecting this coastline is vital. However, as Kings Lynn and West Norfolk local council group leaders collectively highlighted in a recent letter to the Secretary of State, and as my honourable friend for Waveney has highlighted, currently the funding threshold for coastal defences does not give damage to internationally renowned triple SSI sites that I'm lucky to have in my constituency, to habitats, to agricultural land, nor to vital tourism due importance. That approach clearly needs to be revised and reformed. It should be common cause that a managed retreat or loss of land is not acceptable in North West Norfolk. We need to hold the line. And as I stood on the beach looking at the homes and the land, the Environment Agency representatives assured me and others there that they were committed to long-term coastal defence measures. In his letter to me, to the council leaders a couple of weeks ago, my honourable friend referred to the Environment Agency providing assurances to the community that the management of this coastline is a high priority. And so it must be. And the government must ensure that funding and support is in place for the Shoreline Management Plan strategy for 2025 and onwards. We need to do everything we can to protect North West Norfolk's coastal environment.